Hey you guys, it is me, Laura, and this has come on just a little bit early. I am setting up my camera and I accidentally went ahead and pressed record, which was not intentional, but we're good. So, today I am coming to you with a quick tip. I have had a request to see a little bit more of Lasting Lily, so I have made a few sample cards for you guys. Got this one, and I posted a picture of this one, but I have since made a whole set that goes with it. Different colors, slightly different setup on each one. You can see all of that. So I've got kind of a rainbow of colors going on here, which is really fun. And I like making these sets and then giving them as gifts. They make really, really great gifts. You can package them really nicely, and maybe next time I'll show you. I'm going to be making a box for this, and if you guys would like to see how I make a box to gift these cards in, let me know, and I'm happy to show you. So today, because we wanted to see a little bit more of Lasting Lily, I am going to show you a little bit about a trick on how to use these DistINKtive stamps. And what DistINKtive stamps are is, as you can see, let me grab one of these and show you. If you see there's a tremendous amount of detail and variation in these stamps. You can see here, like, there's outline, and then there's lighter parts, and all of these kind of layers. And typically, historically, to get that kind of look on a stamp, you would have had to do multiple step stamping. But the DistINKtive stamp, you can get it all in just one stamp. And these ones, the photopolymer ones, I think that they have some in the rubber too. And I think the Painted Season is a rubber one, and they're not quite the same, but they've started doing the photopolymer DistINKtive as well. And in order to get them, there's a few tips and tricks to get the best image possible. So the first thing you're going to want is, ideally, you would have some kind of foam pad to stamp on when you're using the photopolymer. This is the pad that comes with my Stamparatus, and I just slide it underneath my surface. You can use any kind of foam mat or piece of foam. If you don't have that, grab a catalog or a magazine and put that under, and that can do that. That can work well as well, just to give a little give under there. And so I'm just going to kind of show you what happens if you stamp with this like a regular stamp. Now, first thing I'm going to do is make sure my stamp is clean. I've got a little dust on mine, so I'm going to get that off. So make sure my stamp is nice and clean. And I see someone watching. If you want to shout out a color that you want me to demonstrate with, I'm happy to grab that color. If not, I've got one standing by ready to go. But I can show you some tips with this lily. So is there a particular color that you would like? Don't see anything. I'll give it a minute to pop up. I've been having a lot of fun playing with the stamp set. My only complaint right now is that I don't have more time to play with this stamp set. Okay, so I'm going to show you with some Gorgeous Grape. And first off, I'm just going to take my Gorgeous Grape stamp pad, move this out of the way, put this right there, and I am just going to ink it up. I have this on my D block, and it fits really well. You can do this with a Stamparatus as well, but I'm just using a block right now. So I'm inking this up, and I'm just going to stamp it regularly. Now I want you to see when I take this off, oh, I was off the mat a little bit, so let's do that again. Give it a fair go. Make sure I'm on the mat fully this time. Okay, so I'm going to just stamp it right on top here. Okay, so this is inking my ink pad up. This is a pretty juicy ink pad, not terribly juicy. Sorry, that's my little girl. My husband's got them upstairs, but it's that time of day. Sometimes things are fussy. Okay, so you can see here, with too much ink, there's more ink on this one than this one, but see, it's really blotchy. I'll bring it up close. See all the blotches there? And it's hard to see the gradient, like the detail gets lost. So how do we fix that? Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to clean this off really well so that we're starting with a fresh slate. And one thing that you can do, there's a couple methods, I guess, that I'll show you. So one method is to take a spoon or a bone folder or something and push the ink down off the ink pad. Now I use my bone folder. I don't mind it being messy and being inky. I use it to re-ink my inkers. It usually washes off good, but I don't care if it looks gross. I'm using it, right? It's a tool. So I am going to use it to kind of move the ink out of the way. I'm just kind of pushing that ink down into the ink pad so that when I ink up my stamp, not quite so inky. So then I'm just lightly pressing it, and then I'm going to put it down right here. And you want to press and hold just like you would with a regular stamp. Make sure you get good coverage, and let's see. See, that's so much better. You still got a few little splotches there, but do you see the difference between those two and even in this one? The gradient there. We'll do it twice. We'll do each method twice to kind of give a fair go. I'm going to push that ink down again, and then I'm going to ink my stamp up real lightly. I want to make sure I cover the whole thing, but I don't want a ton of ink. And then I'm going to press down and see the difference. Wow, such a big difference. So that method totally works. It's totally a good way to do it. So I'm going to clean my stamp off real good and let that dry. Go ahead and clean off my bone folder. And the other method, which is typically what I have been using, you will use, let's write on here what these are. So this is standard. This is your standard way of stamping. And this is push ink, we'll call it. Push ink with your bone folder. And then the one that we're about to do, we will call dauber, because we're going to use, and I'm probably spelling it wrong. I can't spell. I don't know if that's supposed to have 2 B's or 1. You can tell me. There are things that I am good at, and there are things that I am not. And spelling I am not. Although I'm getting better. I'm teaching phonics so much, and learning is really helping me. I'm improving in many ways, but I still got a long way to go. Okay, so I just have an ink dauber here. There's a number of kinds of ways you can do this. I always just use this kind. I like it because it goes on my finger really easily. So I just take it and I get the ink in my ink pad. And now with these ink daubers, you don't actually have to have one for every single color. You can have one for your purples, one for your reds, one for your pinks, and one for your greens, and so on. You just don't want to have like a really dark green and a really light green on the same dauber. That might mess it up, but you can kind of share around. Okay, so I am just getting this on here. Not super heavy, but I want to make sure I cover the whole thing. And then I'm going to turn this around and stamp. Oop, I don't think I quite got it all. Looking over here, doesn't look like that got inked up. Okay, so let's try that again. So I'm going to stamp it right there. And that is what it looks like with the ink dauber. I'm going to do one more. I actually like this one really well. Of course, you can choose this based on what you have, and if you don't have a bone folder, like I said, some people will use a plastic spoon just to kind of push that away. So just inking this up. So sorry about the background crying. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My toddler, I don't know, she probably wants something that she can't have. I'm not really sure, but I know her daddy's up there with her, so all is well. I don't have to worry. He'll give me a holler if something really happens. Okay, she sounds more like she's complaining than that she's hurt or something like that. Okay, so here, that one's got the sponge dauber all on it. I'm gonna press it down and get that on the paper really well, and lift it up. And there we go. So those are your ways to kind of use the DistINKtive stamps. And this works with any of them. So this is if you just try and stamp it, you'll be like, what happened? And see, as this is dried even more, it's just, you can't even see really the detail. There's just too much ink. It kind of soaks in the paper too much. So then here you have, this is the kind of the effect that you get if you push the ink away, push it down in your ink pad so that you don't have a lot of ink on your ink pad, you'll get this kind of look. And if you use a sponge dauber and ink up your stamp that way, you're going to get more of this kind of look. So feel free to experiment and try and figure out what you like best. But that is my little quick tip for today with using these detailed, distinctive kind of stamps that have depth and layer to them in just one stamp. And I hope that is helpful for you guys. If you have any more questions, let me know. I hope you find joy in creating as you spread kindness and encouragement with your scraps of paper, and I will talk to you later. Bye.